Hello there, everybody. Update on the watermelon patch for you. So, I've been having a lot of issues with bottom rot, which of course I know in stuff like tomatoes and peppers is calcium magnesium deficiency. So, I have some watermelons making, but the vines keep trying to make more and just can't support it. They're getting bottom rot. I got one nice Charleston Gray. It had a baby. The baby was about, it's bigger than a softball, and it got bottom rot. So I had to toss it. Some big oblong one over there had bottom rot. I tossed it down there. And then one of the Otoms from Japan, they renamed them to Early Girl Otom on Baker Creek. They're not just Otom anymore. One of them was rotted. I ripped it apart and some of the seeds looked like they were mature. So I tossed it down in the field like I did the rest of these, but it did get me thinking I might just be seeding volunteers for next year. So if that happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not that big of a concern to me if they come up or not, you know. So obviously the ground needs a little bit more to it. That, or I need to, if I do it again, which I probably won't do it here because of the disease risk, I either need to put some calcium magnesium into the ground, which I could do with dolomite lime, because it's lime, calcium, and it's got magnesium in it. But that will change my pH. Or I just gotta trim them, be on top of them, you know. Oh, there's 5 watermelons. Nope, we don't want 5. We only want 3 on this plant. That's what a lot of growers do. They get bigger watermelons, but then you have to constantly monitor your plants and trim them and stuff. And I like letting it grow and letting it grow. So you can see, this is a Florida Giant here. It's all the way down here from all the way up there. And you can see this one has gotten massive. There's another thing I want to talk about. I don't know if it's... Boy, my hand's showing red on this camera for some reason. I don't know if it's because they're later starting or if it's because they're not on the tarp, but it seems like the ones out in the grass are getting bigger than the ones up there on the tarps. So that might be something where that tarp not having the weeds around them is actually affecting my harvest, which is something I never considered would be something to affect my harvest, not having them in weeds. But you can see how big he is. And he's a fresh one. He's a relatively new one. So is this one. And you can see the size of it. Quite large. Even that one right there. That one is about the size of the ones up here. And it's on the edge of the tarp. But this one's been here a long time. And as you can see, it looks a little bit smaller than that fresh one. So why has that one down there gotten bigger so much quicker than this one that was on the tarp edge? Or that one, or that one, or that one. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. It seems like there may actually be a difference between growing it on the tarp versus growing it in the weeds. And if that is a case, it's something we all need to know, because that is something that is affecting the harvest. So that one that had the bad vine that I pulled off, that could have used a little bit longer, it was only a little over 12 pounds. These things are supposed to get up to 50 pounds, and it was about this size. So that begs the question, why is it so much smaller? And I don't really know, because where these are underperforming, that little guy right there, those black beauties, they're overperforming. Most of the ones I've harvested have been bigger than they should have been. The seed packet said 5.5 was on the big side for them, but I've been getting them over that. So I don't know, because they're growing on the tarp as well. So I don't know. You can see that Florida giant over there in the grass, it's real big, and it's younger. I don't know if it's a case of the vine now has more to put out than it did when it made these, or if it's a case of they're in the grass. So there's something going on that's not going on this tarp. But it's something to think about, especially for the future. And I have found that little guy there, which looks to be a black beauty. And the weird thing is the bottom rot ain't happening to everybody. A lot of the Florida giants, no problem, no bottom rot. A lot of the black beauties, no problem, no bottom rot. I think it's more the Klondike that gets bottom rot, or the Crimson Sweet, because they're both over there. There's one Klondike up here, and then there's the Crimson Sweets down there. You can actually see them right there. And I'm thinking they are getting the bottom rot, but I don't know if they've run up here to where that Klondike is. I haven't traced the vine back. So one of them is very prone to bottom rot. But I found a black diamond in my patch, which is nice. I didn't know if I was going to get a black diamond. So the black diamond is over here on this edge, but where the vine has sprawled, let me try to maneuver myself. There's my black diamond. He looks pretty nice. Pretty sizable watermelon. He's next to a Florida giant. But you can see that big Florida giant over there. And that's a black beauty there. More Florida giants. I think that's a Klondike right there next to that one. I don't know if you can see it on my camera. Another Florida giant. But I don't think I want to grow these Florida giants again. If you saw from the cutting video on that Florida giant, it had holes in the bottom of it, and it had calloused over them just fine, but it had holes. This one ain't got holes, but it's got spots on it, on the bottom of it. But I've got several other ones in here that have holes in the bottom of them. So I don't know if I particularly want to grow Florida giants again. So see, here's a baby Florida giant. It looks good. It's, you know, you don't want no holes in the bottom of them. But some of these, like see here, it's got a hole right there. Don't want a hole in your watermelon. You want your watermelon to be nice and pretty, especially if you're reselling. You don't want a bunch of holes in them. Now, I'm not reselling them, but, you know, hopefully you get my point. Yeah, see, I'm not sure if this right here is a Klondike or that Crimson Sweet. I haven't traced the vine back to the Klondike, but as you can see, they run. And the Otoms and the Moon and Stars, they're down there. They're not up here in this patch. So try to get in here without stomping a bunch of stuff. See here, he looks good on the bottom. Well, right there is the hole with the Klondikes in. So the assumption is there's a good chance. Look at that. Look at how far that runs. That might be a Crimson Sweet right there. That may not be a Klondike. The way that vine's running all the way down there, that might be a Crimson Sweet. But yeah, you can see how big this boy is. And I turned him on his side there because I was worried about him getting holes in it. And then, see, I got a big boy in there. I turned him over too. Then I got one there. Got those two there. I think those might be two different watermelons there. They look different. And there's some little sugar babies in there too, but they're tiny. You can't see them. If I go in there, I can pull them out, but they're not that big yet. They may not get that big. But you can see where that watermelon was. It was bad. I threw it down there. But that's a watermelon update for you. We're just now into August. Well, no, we're just now into the end of August, almost September. So you can see the cats there. It's raining on me, so I'm gonna pack it up and head on in. But if you're growing watermelons or you're just wanting to learn about them, hopefully this video helped you out a little bit. If you've been following me on the different varieties and how some of them have holes for me, some of them are getting bottom rot for me, and then some of them are just performing nice. And you can see how I'm doing my tarps and how that might be affecting my crop. In case you're thinking of doing tarps to keep weeds down at the stems. But thanks for watching, and hopefully this was helpful to you. See you in the next update.